Heathrow third runway. What are the pros and cons of London Airport expansion and why is it so controversial? The proposed expansion of Heathrow Airport has proved a controversial issue, sparking fierce debate from both sides of the political aisle. Let X27:S take a look at the contentious issue. Transport Secretary Chris Grayling says it will allow more connecting flights with other UK airports, but there has been fierce opposition to the third runway proposal. The government say a new runway is necessary for the UK to be able to compete with other European cities for business investment as well as meet demands for new flights. The final report of the Airport Commission, which was led by Sir Howard Davis, was published in July 2015 and concluded that a third runway at Heathrow was the best option for the future of aviation in the UK. Heathrow is at 98% capacity and Gatwick is expected to run out of space in a few years, which means that London will struggle to keep up with other European airports. This especially affects Heathrow, as Britain and X27:S only hub airport it competes with Paris, Frankfurt, Madrid and Amsterdam. They have enough runway capacity for 700,000 flights a year each, but at the moment Heathrow is only permitted 480,000. A new runway would mean airlines could add new, direct flights to fast-growing markets such as Brazil, Russia, India and China, which are important for economic growth. Last October 3 options were shortlisted by the Airports Commission, including one to expand Gatwick. They were the government believes the northwest runway is the best option and plans are now being developed to build a runway there. Parliament is expected to vote on the issue late this year or early next year. If it is approved, only then will it enter the planning process, and according to the Airports Commission, work is on X27:T likely to start until 2020 or 2021. The first proposals for further expansions were submitted in 1971 and since then X27:S been a long drawn-out process, with several other proposals, acceptances and rejections. The decision of how to solve the problem of a lack of capacity at London and X27:S airports has taken a long time and has divided cabinet ministers. Theresa May has given ministers exceptional and limited freedom to criticize the government and X27:S final decision, but they want and X27:T be allowed to campaign against it. Downing Street said any ministers wanting to voice their opposition to the plans would have to seek permission from the Prime Minister in advance. Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson and Justine Greening are both bitterly opposed to expanding the West London hub. Boris famously backed Boris Island, plans for a new hub airport on the Thames estuary. He was so against expanding Heathrow that he previously pledged to lie down in front of bulldozers to stop the building. Zach Goldsmith, Tory MP for Richmond Park and North Kingston, resigned when the plans were given the go-ahead. Boris Johnson called the expansion undeliverable. Heathrow claim a new runway will increase the amount of direct and frequent long-haul destinations for passengers, with 40 new locations by 2030. There would also be a greater choice of airlines for passengers and lower fares. Heathrow also say that passengers would benefit from a shorter travel time as a new runway at Gatwick